People, I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. In this, I got this from Tom Broome. I have some peppers I have not even looked at yet. That's the first glimpse I've had of them. There is, in this, we have a couple killer yellows, but a mystery red pod. And here is today's video, this morning's video. Wow, look at that pepper. Holy moly. But this is the mystery pod. We don't know what it is, or he knows what it is. I do not. All I have is what you guys have, a visual. I haven't tasted it yet. This is the first time I've seen it. So, in this envelope, if you see, it says mystery pepper. A 4-year-old could see that this is hermetically sealed. This has been sitting in a mayonnaise jar on Funkin' Wagner's porch since noon. And nobody knows the contents of this envelope, except me. I don't know them yet, but I'm going to. That was somebody must know what that reference was, right? Somebody will get it. And you know what? It won't be a young guy. Or a young person, I should say. It's going to be an older person. All right, so here it is. Tom Broome, Seriously Hot Peppers. So I'm going to look at it and eat it. You know, from looks, I really can't tell. Mystery pepper. Oh, this is just the name of the mystery pepper. Either way, I'm going to cut this thing open right now, and we're going to give this thing a look-see. Wow. Really, just a very interesting looking interior. Look at that. It smells super hot. I don't think anybody can determine a pepper by aroma. I mean, you can tell if it's a super hot or a mild, but this does have that super hot aroma. All right, so we're gonna eat this pepper and give it a shot. People, from the garden of Tom Broome, mystery pod. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. Interesting pepper. There's a sweetness to it. It's beautiful. It was fruity, had a sweetness up front. A lot of times when you eat peppers and there's a sweetness to it, that is the flavor that's going to dissipate the quickest. Usually like that, the sweetness is gone. The sweetness kind of hung in there a little bit longer. I got nothing. I have no idea what that is. So he's going to name this. We're going to open this up and see what the name of this thing is. Let's talk about heat. That's actually a very tasty pepper. It's a throat burn, not a mouth burn. Never would have guessed what that was. Now here's the deal. He had a plant that was a plant that everybody would know. It was throwing pods, and it threw a strange one. That pepper, believe it or not, was a dragon's breath. I never would have guessed that. However, I wouldn't have guessed it. What would have thrown me off was the look of it, right? But to be honest, if you go back and look at the last 2 or 3 dragon's breath videos I've done for Tom, they've had a sweetness to them. People that watch the show a lot will go, wow, he's right. The last couple times I've done, I think there was an occasion where I ate 4, and there was another occasion where I ate 3 or 4 of them. But the last couple times I've eaten dragon's breath from Tom, they've had a sweetness to them that is very unusual, and that pepper does. Now, when I was out in the San Diego, I had a person from the UK come up and they said, I got to ask you a really important question. I said, what? I said, what do you really think of the dragon's breath? It's a UK pod. It was created in the UK. And I'm going to tell you the same thing. I'll tell you the same thing I told them. The Dragon's Breath is a great pepper. It didn't need, okay, it didn't need, it didn't need to be, you know, here's the deal. When they came out, they said it's 2.46 million, it'll kill a person. They just didn't need to say all those things. If they had just rolled it out, and that wasn't Bob or Neil Price. That was somebody else who did that. Bob and Neil Price are the creators of this pepper. If they had just said, look, this is a hot pepper, I think it would have been received a lot better. But when you say it's 2.46 million, it's going to kill somebody, you really, I mean, you've set yourself up, you paint yourself into a corner. So, this had a sweetness very similar to the last two. And the thing that's odd about that, I've eaten a lot of Dragon's Breath. I don't know how many, but I've eaten a lot. And the last several times I've had them from Tom, I've noticed a sweetness to them. But before that, I have to go back and look at the videos, but I really can't recall eating a Dragon's Breath that had a real sweetness to it. But the last several times I've done that with Tom, they have. So that pepper was a Dragon's Breath, and man, it didn't look like that, did it? It did not look like a Dragon's Breath pepper to me. I just realized now that I didn't take enough pictures for the thumbnail. I think this is the one I'm going to eat next. That is just wicked looking. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Tom Broome, you're a rock star. Oh, the heat on that. That's why I was talking about why it didn't need to be set up the way it was. That's a hot pepper. The person says it's as hot as a Reaper. I don't think I've ever had a Dragon's Breath that blew a Reaper away. I've had plenty of Dragon's Breath that were the same heat as a Reaper. I think they're about the same heat. I've never had a Dragon's Breath that says, oh, hands down, that's way hotter than Reaper. I've never had that. However, it's better tasting than the Reaper, I believe. Anyway, so I was sharing with that person from the UK that my sentiments. You know, if they had just come out and said, boy, it's a hot pepper, you're going to like it, it would have been probably received a whole lot better. So if nothing else, it's a good lesson. All right? They need to exaggerate. That was a great pepper as it was. So the next pepper I think you'll see me eat is this. I'm not quite sure. But boy, is that beautiful. All right, guys. So thank you, Tom Broome, for that pepper. That was the mystery Dragon's Breath. Certainly had a very, very off phenotype. But that flavor and the sweetness was very similar to the last. If you go back and look at the last few times I've done Dragon's Breath, very, very same pepper. Sweetness, hot, but unusual because you don't get hot, sweet with Super too often. There, that's it. In the description box, you'll see Tom Broome, a really good friend of mine. Check him out. He sells seeds, not a pod seller, people. He sells seeds. But if you're a grower, you can buy some seeds and grow them. Right there is the pepper to get on this bus. I am merely the driver. If you don't want to miss a video, don't. The way to avoid it is just to show up every day. Please check out the bus pass. I think Tommy and I are going to make a bus pass video today. We are from his pool. So that'd be kind of fun. So look to see that this afternoon. Right there is the lifeboat. More videos here. I'm Johnny Scoble, people. This is Chase the Heat.